Good morning, Miss Amanda.
Good morning, sweetheart. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Remember to enter the meeting with your cameras off, please.
Good morning, Miss Amanda.
Good morning. All right, just one more minute while people come through and we'll get started. They're coming in from the waiting room.
Good morning, Miss Amanda.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss Amanda.
Good morning.
Good morning, Miss
Good morning to
Amanda.
everyone.
Thank you.
Just waiting 1 second. We have a few people spinning in from the waiting room and we'll start, okay? All right. So we have a story to read today. We're going to read the story of Experts Incorporated. All right, you should be able to see my screen. Mohammed, I got your message. Okay. Now, I want to talk to you about attending the meetings. There are some rules that you need to follow. Of course, we want you to be on time for the meetings. Also, you need to have a working microphone and camera so that when I call on you, you can answer. And when I call on you, I can see you when I want to make sure that you are with us, okay? It's not enough just to sign in and have your name on the meeting. You have to have a microphone and a camera so that I can see you when requested and I can speak to you when requested, okay? So everybody needs to make sure they have a working microphone. All right, I also want to ask you, by a show of hands, you can raise your hand to answer this question. I'm wondering how many of you plan on attending school next week, starting on Sunday. How many of you plan to come to school on Sunday? How many of your parents are going to send you to school? Raise your hand if your parents are going to send you to school. I just want to get an idea of how many students will be here. If you don't know, that's okay.
I'm gonna
If
go.
you do know, please raise your hand because I want to see. All right. All right, thank you very much for raising your hands. You can all put your hands down. Thank you again. All right, now let's get started with today's lesson. We're going to read a story. And the story is called Experts Incorporated. Experts Incorporated. Now, I would like to let you read, but in order for me to let you read, you have to be prepared. Sorry, I'm trying to get this to move in between. In order for me to let you read the story, you have to be prepared to read, okay? I can't call on you and you don't know where we are, or I can't call on you and You have to get your book. I can't call it. You have to be ready to read, okay? Hands down, everyone, please. No questions right now. We're going to start the story because we only have a limited amount of time. I'm going to call on people randomly to read. So you don't need to raise your hand to read, okay? All right, Hamza, you didn't put yours down. Let's see, do you have a question?
No, I forgot to put it down.
That's okay, no problem. No problem, no problem. All right. So let's start with Experts Incorporated. Do you know what the word expert means? What is an expert? Who knows? Ragmini, what's an expert?
Expert means something you're good at. If you're better at. You're good at something better than anyone else in the whole wide world.
Okay, so an expert means that you have a lot of knowledge about something. That's correct, Ragmini, thank you. You have a lot of knowledge about something, okay? Reem, do you have a question?
No, I wanted to answer the one for experts.
Okay, once it's answered, please put your hands down. Hamza, you have a question?
No, I just wanted to answer the question you just asked.
Okay, thank you. Once it's been answered, please lower your hands, okay?
Okay.
Mohammed, also, do you have a question?
Yes, Miss, do we need our notebooks today?
We're going to read the story today, honey.
Okay,
We're
thank
going
you.
to read the story. You're
Okay,
welcome,
thank you.
dear. You're welcome. All right, so let's get started. Experts Incorporated. Let's see if I can change the view here somehow. I want to make it bigger for you, but it only goes, there's no in between. Let's see, let me check view, percentage, zoom out. Nope, there's no in between. All right, so this is how we have to view it. Okay, all right, so let's get started. Experts Incorporated. Here we have two main characters. Here he says, that's me. There's an arrow pointing, so this must be our main character because he says, that's me, which means he is the one who is talking. All right, and we have here Lucas, my best friend. So judging from our photo, we can tell that we have two main characters in our story. This young man here, who we don't know the name yet, and his best friend, Lucas. Yes, Muhammad?
Yes?
Your hand is up.
I forgot to lower it. I'm very sorry.
No problem, no problem. All right, so let's get started. When you read, you can open your camera.
Miss, the
And
story
while
page.
I'm sorry, who is talking?
Miss, the story.
Okay, so let's open your story. You're supposed to have read this story last night for homework. It was listed on your plan to read last night for homework, so everyone should have read it by now. Okay, so let's get started with who is talking. I have all mics muted, yet I still hear someone's voice. Who is that? If your mic is on, you can tell me. Please tell me who you are.
I am Ed. I said I read it.
Okay, Ed. When I'm talking, honey, don't talk because I can't hear you when you're talking, okay? If you want to say something in class, you have to raise your hand.
Okay.
All right? I'm going to mute all mics now. All right, when I call on you to read, I will unmute your mics. You can open your camera while you are reading, okay? And I will stop periodically through the story to ask questions and to point things out, all right? So let's get started. Don't know why these are opening. Let me see if I can copy this very quickly to the desktop because it's opening in Paint, which means I can't resize it and I cannot, someone has set this to open documents in Paint. That means I can't resize it or flip through the document. So let's try to do this. There we go. Let's give this a shot. 1 second. I want to be able to follow with you. Again, Paint. It only opens in Paint. Okay. All right, so let's go. Experts Incorporated, okay? Experts Incorporated. Next page. I'm gonna have to go in and out every time. I have to get IT to set this. All right. Things I can't stand. Things I can't stand. Farida, how about you start for us, please? Hello, Farida. Your mic is turned down, honey. Check your mic. The volume is turned down. I can't hear you.
Do you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead. Start for us.
There are 3 things in the world I can't stand: cumber salad and wool sweaters and creative writing. Cumber make me burp and wool makes me itch, but if you gave me a choice, I would rather burp and itch at the same time than have to write something creative. You finished your
Thank you,
essay,
Farida.
right?
Okay, so thank you, Farida. The character is telling us that there are 3 things in the world that he cannot stand. Cucumbers, okay, cucumber salad, a wool sweater, which are the really heavy sweaters that we wear in winter, and creative writing. All right, let's continue. Hamza.
Yes? Yes?
Okay, when I call on you guys, I need you to read. Otherwise, I'm going to have to read because we're not going to have time.
Okay.
So be ready to read when I call on you, please.
Okay. You finished your essay, right, Rhoda? My friend Lucas asked me as we walked towards school together early one morning. I hesitated. Lucas is my best friend and he always shoots straight with each other. Yeah, I finished it, I said. Phew, that's a relief, he said. If you hadn't, I would never forgive you, you know? Yeah, I know, I said.
Thank you, Hamza. Okay, so he asked, his best friend Lucas asked him, his name is Rado. This is what we know his name to be now, Rado. He asked him if he did his essay. And he told him he did. And he's very happy because he said if he didn't do it, he would never forgive him. All right, Jumana.
Yes.
When I call on you, please be ready to read.
Okay. The problem began on the first day of school year when our homemates teacher, Mrs.
Humanities.
Humanities teacher, Mrs. Greenberg, promised that if nobody get an F in her class all semesters, she would give us a pizza party. Just remember, she laughed. There are no F's in pizza.
All right, thank you, Jumana. So the teacher gave them an incentive that if no one got an F in her class all semester, that she would give them a pizza party. And she laughed to try to make them remember. She said, remember, there's no F's in pizza. All right, Basil.
Just
Here was the last week of the semester, and I was about to earn to just an F, but what that would run everything, because you see, I hadn't done the assignment,
Assignment.
not one word of it.
All right, thank you, Basil. So Rado said, here we are, the last week of the semester, and he was about to get an F. An F that was going to make everyone upset, because if he gets an F on his assignment, there's no pizza party for the class. And the assignment is due today, and he hasn't written one word yet. Okay, not one word. I don't think his friends are going to be very happy with him. All right. Next page. Adita, why is your hand up?
Miss, I want to read.
Sorry?
I want to read.
Okay, but I said everybody put your hands down. I'm going to call on people randomly today. I announced this one before we started reading. Keep your hands down. I'm going to call on people to read. All right. Reem.
As we rounded the corner and headed up the block toward school, Jeremy, Russell, two friends for
From?
two friends for our class caught up with us.
Continue, honey.
You guys did the assignment right? Russell asked us. Yep, Lucas answered for us both. How about you? Of course, said Jeremy.
Okay, thank you, Reem. So the two friends came up behind them and asked, you did do the assignment, right? And Lucas answered for both of them and said, of course we did. Of course, okay? All right. Abdurrahman,
Yes. What? Yes. What do we look like? It does. I
your room
can't
is
think.
very dark. I can't see you. Okay, go ahead.
Nothing.
What do we
Nothing.
look like, idiots? Go ahead. Sorry, I interrupted you. I'm sorry.
What do we look like? It does. I can't
Idiots.
think. Pep and I can't figure. I can taste that pepperoni.
Pepperoni.
I can taste pepperoni already. Last year class got the party and somebody told me she let them have all the soda they wanted to. When they get nervous, I sometimes get I can't I get hives on my neck, and I could feel I could feel one beginning to prickle. up and up, up under my collar.
Okay, thank you. So Rado is getting nervous because all of his friends are asking about the assignment because everybody wants to have the pizza party. And if Rado doesn't do his assignment, he'll get an F and the whole class will not get to have their party. All right, here we go. Okay, let's see, Jenna.
What profession did you pick? Lucas asked.
Okay, I can't hear you, honey. You gotta raise your voice.
What profession did you pick? Lucas asked. Dr. Johnny said, cause they get to save people and stuff. I picked truck driving, said Russell. They get to travel and eat at dinner. I love dinners. But my mom says they're too risky, so we never get to go. What about you, Lucas?
Thank you, Jenna. Okay, so he asked him what he chose, and Jeremy said doctor because he likes to save people. Russell said he picked a truck driver because he likes to eat in diners. Diners are like the places that you find along the road where they have cafeterias and food, and it's considered greasy, not healthy food, okay? All right. Let's see. Moez.
Star picture for the New York Yankees has said, man, can you imagine getting paid to play baseball? The assignment the assignment had been to write an essay about what you want to be when you grow up. Sounds easy enough, unless you are like me and have no idea what you want to be, and no matter how hard you try, you can't think of even one thing that feels the least right. Right.
All right, so
I
he's
bet all
saying
the girls
that the reason thank you, Moaz. He's saying that the reason he had trouble writing his essay is because he doesn't know what he wants to be. So it was hard for him. He didn't know what he wanted to be. And it's hard to write an assignment and explain what you want to be when you don't know. All right, so let's continue. Yet.
Oh, yes, miss. Hello?
Yes, Yet. I'm waiting for you to read. I told you guys to be ready when I call on you to read, okay?
Mm,
You are following along, right?
yeah.
We are here.
I bet all girls are going to say they want to be teachers because they know Mrs. Greenberg will eat up that with a spoon, Russell said with disgust. Yeah, probably. Lucas agreed. So what did you pick, Rodo? He asked, turning to me. We were just staring, starting up the
Starting.
steps of the school when a familiar cry went up from the playground. Hey, look, everybody, there goes Mucus. Hey, Mucus.
All
Lucas,
right, so thank you, Ed. All right, so this reference here, I want you to pay attention to this. It says all the girls are going to say they want to be teachers because they know Miss Greenberg will eat that up with a spoon. Does it actually mean she's going to eat something? No, it means that she's going to like it. To eat something up with a spoon means that you are going to like something, okay? All right, so this is an idiom where the group of words mean something different than what they actually said. So eat that up with a spoon means to like something. All right, Lucas agreed and asked Rod what did he decide he wanted to be, and they ran up the stairs towards the classroom. They heard somebody screaming down from the playground. Lucas, his best friend, gets teased and called mucus. The word mucus, you know when you have a bad cough and there's something in your throat and you have to cough it out? That's what mucus is. Okay, so they're making fun of his name. His name is Lucas and they're changing it to mucus and making fun of him. All right, let's see, who's next? Dito.
Yes.
What did I ask you guys to do when it's time, when I call your name, to be ready to read?
Yeah. Lucas blushed and hung his head. As we walked up the steps and into the building, it happens to him all the time. Poor guy. He has one of the worst names. Not only does Lucas rhyme with mucus, but you're still in trouble because then it rhymes with puke. He's been tortured his whole life on account of that name.
All right, so poor Lucas, he gets picked on all the time. They call him mucus. If they even call him Luke, they change it to puke. Puke means when you throw up. So poor Lucas, he gets picked on because of his name all the time. Thank you, Adito. All right, next. Farah. Hello, Farah. Okay, I need you guys to be ready when I call on you. Medic.
Yes.
Go ahead, honey. I asked everybody to be ready to read when I call your name.
Okay.
You know where we are? We're at the top of the page.
Yeah. Having a bad name is something Lucas and I have in common, and probably part of the reason we became friends. All the way back on the first day of kindergarten. My name is Rondi Burton. My parents and my teachers call me Rod. My friends call me Rodo. My sister, who is only 2, call me Ra Ra Ro,
Rah, rah.
Rodney Curtin may not be the greatest name in the world, but front word word like that, it's not so bad. The thing is at school. When they call out your name for attendance, they say it backwards. Lucas Bromberg becomes Bromberg Lucas. Samantha Smith becomes Miss Samantha.
Okay, so thank you. So he is explaining that it's really difficult when you have a name that it's easy for the kids to make fun of them because the kids make fun of your name, okay? So we all know that kids can be cruel and say mean things. So they're having trouble because of their names. Wahba, do you have a question? Wahba, your hand is up. Do you have a question? Sorry?
I want to read.
Okay, I told everyone that I would randomly call on people. We have about 9 minutes. Okay, Wahba, I'm going to let you read and then I'm going to finish the rest of the story. Go ahead, Wahba.
Unfortunately, I become curtain rod. That's bad. As we made our way down the hall to homeroom, as we made our way down the hall to homeroom, I felt sorry for Lucas.
On account?
I felt on account of the teasing, but secretly I was relieved that he'd forgotten about the question he'd asked me. How was he going to take it when he found out I hadn't done the assignment?
Wahba, do you have something over your camera? We can't see you.
No.
It's black, completely black. It's like somebody's got their finger over it or something. It's not showing anything. We wanted just to see your face. There you are. All right. So when Rodney's name is called out in class, they call his last name first. His last name is Curtin. Curtain rod is the thing that you hang the window coverings on. So people make fun of it because they tease him about his name, okay? All right, so back to this assignment. Remember, he had not done his assignment. After she took attendance, Miss Greenberg, we have her for homeroom as well as humanities, announced that she would be collecting our papers after lunch. There was still hope left. So he has until after lunch to do his paper. There was still hope left. All I had to do was come up with an idea between now and then, scribble it down in time to hand it in with the others. I'm sorry, messages are popping up, it's distracting to me. 1 second, let's see. Where was scribble it down and hand it in with the others, and maybe I wouldn't have to ruin the party after all. The problem was I still didn't have any ideas. So he wants to write his paper, he wants to turn it in with the other kids, but the problem is he doesn't know what he wants to be. What do I want to be? I asked myself. Come on, Curtin, think. I thought about it during math, history, and science lab, but with lunchtime only minutes away, my mind was still a complete blank. The only thing I could think of that I wanted to be was someone else, someone who had written this stupid essay already. As I looked around the room desperately, remember that's without hope, he's feeling very, very worried and very stressed out, around the room desperately hoping to find some inspiration, he wants to get an idea from somewhere, I asked myself, do I want to be a scientist? Do I want to fix clocks, write books, build desks, make pencils? No, no, no. And then suddenly, without warning, everything shifted into slow motion as my eyes came to rest on the face of a girl sitting in the second seat in the third row from the left. That's when it hit me. I knew what I wanted to be. what the world needed me to be. When the bell for lunch rang, I didn't join the others in the cafeteria. Instead, I took out my notebook and began to write. When the fifth period bell rang, I was already in my seat in Miss Greenberg's room with a stack of 4 handwritten sheets of paper in front of me and a huge grin on my face. So he had figured out what he wanted to be, and he had written his essay in time. Okay? All right. Why are you sitting there smiling like a dork? Lucas asked as he slid into the seat next to me. And where were you at lunch anyway? And another thing, you never answered my question from before. What did you choose as your profession? Name expert, I told him happily. That's definitely what I want to be, a name expert. A name expert? Who ever heard of that, he said. Nobody. It hasn't been invented yet. But I'm going to be the first one, I told him. Oh yeah? And what exactly are you going to do, he asked me. I'm going to advise people, give advice, give them your opinion about what you think they should do. I'm going to advise people about what not to name their kids. No offense, but that is so dumb. Why would anybody pay you to tell them what not to name their kid, he asked. Because I'm an expert, I said. Says who, he said. What's your name? What do you mean, what's my name? You know my name, fish for brains, Lucas snorted. Come on, just answer the question. What's your name? Lucas, he said. And what do all the kids call you? He hesitated uncomfortably for a second. He felt uncomfortable. It was difficult for him to answer the question because he felt embarrassed. He hesitated uncomfortably for a second before answering. Mucus, he said quietly. Exactly, I said. See? If I had been around when your parents were deciding what to name you, I could have warned them that every name needs to be checked for bad rhymes. A kid named Leo is going to end up getting called Bio. Bio means the smell of your body. Anybody named Gabby is going to get called Flabby. Flabby means when you have loose skin. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure that out. Your name is particularly bad because it's a double whammy. Tell me about it, said Lucas, shaking his head sadly. The way I see it, a name expert should be hired every time a baby gets born to protect it from being saddled with a name that could ruin its life, I went on. How much do you think you'll get paid, he asked. A lot. Parents pay a bundle for braces to straighten their kids' teeth. Don't you think they'd shell out even more to save their kids from being humiliated at school? Remember, humiliated is when you get embarrassed, like when they're getting embarrassed by being called names by their friends. Here's a question for you. Do you think there's any way a name expert could figure out whether a name is going to fit when the kid gets older? Lucas asked me. What do you mean? I said. Well, for instance, you know how Melody Adams is tone deaf. Yeah, she sings like a moose, I said. If her parents had known she was going to be a musical, maybe they wouldn't have given her an unmusical name. Maybe they wouldn't have given her a musical name like Melody. Maybe they would have named her Moose, I said. We both laughed. All right, we have less than 1 minute. I'm going to continue. If we don't finish, we will finish tomorrow, okay? I suppose a name expert could be trained to look carefully at the parents for signs of what's to come, I said. Like, for instance, if there's a history of baldness in the family, it's probably not a very good idea to use the name Harry. You wouldn't want to call your kid Harry if he has no hair. Yeah, or like if the parents